Charlie Kirk's first podcast happened to air July 7, 2019, and it was exactly 322 weeks to his assassination. I'm sure that's a coincidence as well. 322 again. The number of skull and bones, the Yale University Secret Society, a lot of scripted events have 322 tied into it. The Brussels bombing, the bridge in London, there's many through history that have 322 coordinated, whether or not it's the date, March 22nd, or it's the time and event occurring. In this case, he was shot at 12:23, and of course, backwards you have. Look at the signs and symbols again. Kirk doing the triangle of power with his hands. Here's an interview with Charlie Kirk, a quick clip where he denies even understanding what Freemasonry is, but we're supposed to believe that this well-educated man, who, of course, is a college dropout, like most of them are, right? I love that part of it. Not that there's anything, to be proud of going to college, but it's more confirmation of how these people are groomed, they're placed, they're positioned in these spots. Charlie Kirk is going to tell us that he doesn't know much about Freemasonry. He's open to it. He knows some Masons who are good people. Of course he does. And remember, they take a vow of secrecy. They take an oath to their grave. They're not going to come out on national television and be like, I'm a Freemason and I don't do those things and I believe in God. They just deny having any understanding of it, and then they pretty much just brush it under the rug, right? They kind of just go, I don't know, maybe it could be true. It kind of sounds crazy, but I'm open to it, without actually using the platforms they have to expose it. Because if they use the platforms they had to expose it, then the mass awakening would continue because people would know how this all works. Because yes, you can look at the top of the pyramid and you can point to Israel and you can point to the Vatican, but if you don't look at the bottom of the pyramid, then you won't have an understanding of how it works in your town, how it works around you on an everyday basis, right? How your school council's on board with this stuff, how your local police are involved in this stuff, because Freemasonry.
Those of you who think that you are going to replace Charlie Kirk, okay? Kings are born. You don't just get to depose and tell us that we're going to follow this individual, okay? I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA. You put a shill in Charlie Kirk's chair, in Charlie Kirk's company, and you try to tell us to follow that individual, I will be an enemy of you. There will be nothing that can stop me. Okay? And I want you guys to understand, this is not a threat. This is a promise. There will be nothing that can stop me. I will release every single text message. So to those of you who are trying that, I'm seeing the messages, I am telling you to back off right now. Like right now, don't do it, okay? Don't you think about it. I know exactly who you are. I know exactly who you were that were exerting pressure. Don't you pretend to be noble now and say nice things about Charlie Kirk and think you're going to slide into his chair, okay? Over my dead body, which I'm sure can be arranged. I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA. I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA.
I mean, you can't make it up. Perfect timing, right? Yeah, she's just gesturing with her hand. Well, how come when I'm ranting and I'm yelling or anything that I'm doing, I'm never holding that up? Are you holding that up? This is right in front of your face. This is how signs and symbols rule the world. Candace Owens lecturing you about how she'll lay her life down if anybody thinks they're going to replace her Freemasonic friend Charlie Kirk. And of course, Candace knows that nobody out there, no independent random person is going to replace Charlie Kirk on his show and get the views that of course not, because you have to be a government agent. So anybody, if they come close, would just be another government asset. But she wants to remind you that you can't replace him because that's part of the psyop. To keep reminding you that Charlie Kirk was supposedly shot in the neck because he spoke the way that you speak and he believes in God and these people are evil and it's a battle versus good and evil, right? I mean, this really just goes back to the old saying, there is no honor among thieves.